Dear students, today we will be reading about the tissues in the plants, right? So, before starting, let me write today the date is 29th, 29th of April 2021. On the date we have written next class 7th biology. Class 7th biology, right? Dear students, the topic that is given in your lesson is the first lesson, lesson number 1, and the topic is tissue. Now we have got the chance to interact live in the previous instances, but I will tell you about this tissue again. So before going ahead, let me tell you what is a tissue. First question in front of you is, the first question in front of you is, what is a tissue? What is a tissue? And this is the first question in front of you. So answer to this term is, literary meaning of this word tissue. Literary meaning of this word tissue is tissue meaning oven. Right? Oven means you see the different kinds of rayon or thread are used. One thread comes from this way, other comes from this way, other comes from this way, other comes from this way. Now you have a structure here that is a oven structure, right? Similarly, in case of plants, what is a tissue? So as regards your biology, you write tissue is a group of cells. Right? So group of cells is called tissue. It's because for the sake of study, lot of things together we used to name, right? Suppose a sum of 12 banana will make a dozen. We use the word dozen, right? You don't go to the banana seller and say, give me 12 bananas. You say, give me a dozen banana, right? Similarly, when you have to call a group of cells in the language of biology, we will call them tissue, right? But for this group of cells to be called as tissue, there are certain conditions. These cells which combine to form the tissue, they have certain specific feature or nature. The cells that combine to form tissue must be similar in first in shape, must be similar in shape, similar in size, similar in structure, similar in function, and similar in location. I'll pick these terms one by one. Shape means if the shape, some of the geometrical shapes you are familiar with, means if their shape is triangular, then this triangular shaped cell will combine with another triangular shaped cell, and then only it can make a tissue of this kind. This is first cell, this is second cell, and here this is tissue, right? Their shape should be similar. This is the correct pattern. But if one cell is triangular, another one is say square in shape, and if they combine together, right, if they combine together, this possibility will not give tissue. This is say cell 1, this is cell 2, they are similar in shape, means triangular in shape, both are triangular in shape, they make the tissue. But once one is triangular, another one is say square in shape, and they combine, they will not make the tissue. Will they make the tissue? This structure we will not call the tissue, we will call this only as the tissue. Clear? Regarding the shape. Regarding the size, second aspect is the cells that combine together to form the tissue, their size also should be similar. Similar means say one is this size, the other one also will be of this size, more or less the same size, and they will make the tissue. This is 1, this is 2, 1, 2, and this is tissue, and this is correct posture. But it will not be like that. One is this size will combine with another one of this size and will give rise to a tissue that is of this type. This is again wrong. This is not tissue. This is wrong, right? So their size should be similar. For example, you can take a small grape, and one pumpkin. Pumpkin is very big as compared to the small grape. They will not combine to form the tissue. Their sizes also should remain similar. Similar means near, more or less the same size. The third aspect I am telling you, suppose there is a cell say made up of A, B, C, D. These four things they made this first cell. This combined with another one, suppose this is made up of B, C and D, three things will combine, and then you will have a tissue of this kind. Here you will see A, B, C, D, B, C, D. This is tissue. This structurally, if they are similar, not same, I am not telling the same, the similar, more or less the same, right? But another combination you can see, if there is a cell say made up of 1, 2, 3, 4 plus and the other cell made up of X, Y, Z, T, and will result 1, 2, 3, 4 and then X, Y, Z, T. This is not a tissue. Remember, this is not a tissue because you see both are alphabets and similar kind of substances, then possibility is there, right? Regarding this function, suppose cell 1, suppose this is a cell, say cell 1, and the function of this cell is say digestion, right? Digestion. And the function of the second cell is say digestion. Then only they will make the tissue. Both will have digestion, and this can be formed into a tissue. But suppose there is a cell, one that is doing the work of digestion, other one is doing the cell work of say respiration, the result will not be D and R. This is never a tissue. Do you follow? So As regards function also, they should be similar. Then regarding location, the cell should be located at one place, so similar place. Suppose there is a cell, this cell is present in the say fingertip, this finger, at this tip one cell is present, and the other cell also should be present at the fingertip only, then they will able to make a tissue, right? It will not be that one cell is at fingertip and the other cell is on the head, and they will make a tissue FT and the other one H. This type of possibility is not there. I think by now it is clear to you what kind of cells should be there that are in group and that can be called as tissue. Now look here again what I have told you. What is a tissue? It's the name of the lesson, tissue. What is a tissue? Tissue is literally, it means woven, a structure that is woven, knit. You may have seen before the winter many of the housewives, they use the pins for making the sweater using the woolen thread, right? They use that, so they knit that sweater. That thread is knit into the form of a sweater, right? Similarly, to make our body, when I say, I mean the living body, the human body, the animal body, and the body of plants. So what happened? These cells, as are the basic structures, they are used to give rise to a bigger structure called the tissue. Tissue is just a woven structure. Woven structure means that is knit together. Then obviously it is very clear that tissue is always a group of cells, right? And the cells that combine to form this tissue, they should be similar in shape, similar in size, they should be similar in structure, similar in function, and as well as similar in location, right? Shape means how they look. Here I have taken the example of a triangular shape. So one triangular shaped shell combined with another triangular shape and gives rise to a tissue. This type of combination may be called tissue. But if one cell is triangular in shape, other one is a quadrilateral or square in shape, and this type of possibility is not seen, right? So the cells that combine to form a tissue, they must be similar in shape, they must be similar in size. As regards size also, I told you, this is one cell, this is another cell, their size is more or less the same, slight variation may be there. Otherwise I would have told you that they must be exactly the same. No, nearly the same, right? Here you see, suppose this is a grape and this one is a pumpkin, they will not combine to give rise to a tissue. Regarding the structure, you see, suppose this is one cell that is made up of components A, B, C and D. This is another one that is made up of B, C and D, and they may combine. But suppose one cell is made up of digits, other one is made up of alphabets, and they will not combine. Do you follow? Regarding the function also, they should have similar function. One is doing the help of digestion, the other one also digestion, then they may combine. But if one is digestion, the other one is respiration, they may not combine to form the tissue or give rise to tissue. Then comes the location. Location means where they are found, where they exist in the body, right? So if suppose one cell is found at the fingertip, other one is also found at the fingertip, and then they will combine to form or give rise to a tissue. But this combination, suppose one cell is at the fingertip, other one is at the head, and if I say they combined, and from tissue you can say no, there is no possibility of such a tissue, right? Is that clear to all of you? What is a tissue? So tissue is a group of cells, and the cells that combine to form a tissue must be similar in shape, size, structure, function and location. This is all about the tissues. Here in this lesson we are going to read about the plant tissues, right? We'll be reading about the plant tissues in this lesson. In this biology lesson we'll be reading about the plant tissues, right? So the thing that we are going to read is plant tissue, right? We will be reading about the plant tissues. So when we read about the plant tissues, basically these plant tissues are classified into two different categories. The first category is of meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue. And the second category is of permanent tissues. Right? As you see the name, here meristematic name you may find little bit unfamiliar, but you see here the term permanent. Permanent means that undergoes no change, that is fixed as regards its shape, size, structure and function. You follow? So the basic difference between this group of cells is meristematic tissues that keep on changing, that the cells, the tissue whose cells thus that keep on changing the shape, structure, and size, not size to extent, size etc. And number also, they keep on changing their number. There is continuous change in them. They are keep on changing. How a cell, how a tissue changes? It changes because of the activity in the cells. I have told you in the beginning that tissue is group of cells. Cells they combine, and if cells change, the tissue will keep changing if there is change. But permanent tissues, no changes. No changes we notice. No changes are noticed as regards their shape, size, functioning, structure or anything. They are permanent, right? These meristematic tissues, some features of these meristematic tissues you must note down here itself. The main feature is these cells of this tissue are, the cells of these tissues are first thin walled or sometimes no cell wall, right? These cells that make meristematic tissue, they have either they may have thin walls or they may not have any cell wall. The second thing about the feature of these cells is full of cytoplasm. They are full of cytoplasm, the material that is required to support the cell organelles is abundant. The third feature of such cells, of the cells of a meristematic tissue, is that they lack chlorophyll. They lack chlorophyll. The fourth feature of such cells is that intercellular spaces are least or lacking. No intercellular spaces. They don't have intercellular space. They don't have enough intercellular space, right? So these are some features of the meristematic tissues, the cells of the meristematic tissues, and the very important, they keep on dividing, they keep on dividing. The cells of a meristematic tissue, they keep on dividing. This is very important aspect, dividing, and once they divide, they multiply the number. This is called cell division, activity of cell division, and the outcome of cell division is growth, and growth ultimately results development. Development means increase in the size of the body of the organism, say plant or an animal. Here we are basically reading about the plants. Clear this, right? And another important thing that we have to notice is about the feature of permanent tissues, cells of the permanent tissue, just opposite. Here thin walls or no cell wall. Here a cell wall is a cell wall exists. Cell wall exists. Second thing, what you have seen, full of cytoplasm, a viscous cytoplasm or no cytoplasm A viscous cytoplasm, thick, water and honey. If you pour water, it will free flow. You will see the flow is, it flows freely, it comes down freely. If you pour water from a glass, but if you are pouring honey or ketchup, it comes out slowly, right? They will not have free flow. So what we say, the honey or the ketchup is thicker or viscous, whereas the water is thinner. So these cells that make permanent tissue, they have the cytoplasm either viscous, very thick, or the cytoplasm may have dried out, and there may not be any cytoplasm, resulting into the death of the cell, right? The third thing is full of cytoplasm, and here what will be there for the third thing? No, third one is they lack chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll, but some of the permanent cells, they may not have. It's not necessarily have, may not also have, depending on the location. May not have, right? And then no intercellular space. Here you see intercellular space is seen. Intercellular space present. It is the place or gap between two cells. The gap between the two cells is because of their arrangement. A gap, a space, a vacant place is created in between two cells, that is called intercellular space. And the fourth thing, keep on dividing. And this fifth point is very important here. If they stop or lose, they lose the ability, can't divide, they can't divide. You can write no cell division. As you know, if no cell division, no growth, and no growth means they will not cause the development. So here one very important thing that comes out after this much of discussion is that these meristematic tissues, they are responsible for growth resulting in development. Dear students, you should not confuse between these two words, growth and development. These two are two different terms. Out of these many years of my experience, I noticed that as these two words are used together, many of our students, they remain confused. Growth is just adding more and more number of cells, adding of things, constituting material. A cell divides, suppose one cell divides, it will form two cells. Two cells will divide, they will form four cells. Four cells will divide, they will make eight cells. 8 cells will divide, they will make 16 cells. 16 cells will divide, they will make 32 cells. 32 cells will divide, they will make 64 cells. 64 cells will divide, they will make 128 cells. 128 cells will divide, they will make 256 cells. 256 cells will divide, they will make 500. This way, this goes on, right? So, these meristematic tissues, they are responsible for growth